Dear friends, welcome back to Computer Guru VK computer classes. The current subject is very peculiar, that is, what people don't know about computers. I wanted to bring out all those facts which are which are not known to average computer user. Friends, what people don't know about the computer. Many people use computers every day without realizing how strange, layered, and astonishing they really are. Here are some things that are often not widely understood about computers. First, computers understand only tiny electrical signals. At the deepest level, computers don't understand either English or any of the world's language, photos, videos, websites, everything becomes billions of tiny on and off electrical states created by electronic switches. The binary system was devised to represent the two states of switching element is one when the electrical switch is on, zero when it is off. Modern software, artificial intelligence, movies and games are ultimately enormous pattern of ones and zeros. Friends, let me intimate you that NVIDIA's latest AI chip, known as Rubin GPU, contains about 336 billion transistors. So think of the amount of burden of manufacturing and utilizing them. Modern tensor processing unit TPUs can perform trillions of calculations per second while consuming less power than many traditional processors by AI workloads. Friends, computers are slow as compared to human beings. The human brain can perform an astounding 38,000 trillion operations per second. It can also hold 3,584 terabytes of memory. So if a computer would be manufactured to be comparable to human brain, it would need to have the above performance specifications. For instance, for reference, IBM Blue Gene supercomputer processes only 92 trillion operations per second and features 8 terabyte of storage. So compare 38,000 trillion operations and it is only 92 trillion operations per second. The IBM supercomputer is one of the most powerful in the world, so it is still far behind the human brain. The human brain, with its estimated 86 billion neurons and 100 trillion synapses, outshines any computer. To match its compatible, a computer will need to perform 38,000 trillion operations per second and store over 3,580 terabytes of memory. Friends, the third fact about computer. Over 90% of the world currencies exist on computers. More than 90% of world currency exist, exist in digital format. Only about 10% of currency comes in physical form. Remaining transactions are done by cryptocurrency and are otherwise people in digital format like Paytm. Say most of the computer's time is spent waiting for memory. People think CPU mainly calculates, but modern processors often spend huge amount of waiting for data from memory. This is why cache design and RAM speed and storage performance matter so much. The memory wall is one of the biggest challenges in computing. The fifth effect, heat is one of the biggest enemy of computing. Faster computing creates more electrical switching and more heat. That is why computers need heat sinks, fans, and liquid cooling. Large artificial intelligence data centers consume enormous electricity partly because of cooling requirement. The sixth fact, deleting a file often does not delete it. That means that data which you have deleted is not actually deleted from computer. Normally when you delete a file, the computer only marks the space as reusable. The actual data may remain until overwritten. This is why deleted files can sometimes be recovered. But this does not happen if you deleted data in the pen drive. There it's not recoverable. Seventh fact, the internet is mostly underwater. Many people imagine satellites running the internet, but most global internet traffic travels through undersea fiber optic cables. Also, there are three internets, whereas we normally keep ourselves engaged in one internet, which is normally free also. So you can see there are two figures. The figure on the left hand side shows the map of the world and how the internet traffic uh, goes through cables on the land and cables undersea. And you can easily recognize that most of the data is run through electronic cable like this. The right shows how the cables are laid under deep sea. This is at very lower depth of the sea. A computer cable is passing through. Friends, AI, that means artificial intelligence, does not think like humans. Systems such as ChatGPT predict patterns from enormous data. They don't possess emotions like humans, self awareness, third, human understanding. AI is extremely powerful pattern recognition tool. Ninth fact, modern computers depend on rare materials. The chips are created out of silicon, gold, copper, lithium in batteries, and rare earth metal in the chip. Global technology industry depend heavily on mining and semiconductor manufacturing. Tenth fact, the cloud is actually physically on earth, it is not in clouds, but may be remotely approachable. Cloud computing sounds invisible, but cloud services run inside enormous data center owned by companies such as Amazon Web Service, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. But these are all paid services. That means your data is kept by them at some cost, but they keep it in different centers. So even if one data is corrupted or lost, uh, the other the same data available in other node will be available to you. 11th, a smartphone today is more powerful, that is, has more throughput than old supercomputer. Modern phones outperform many computers from the 1990s and early 2000. Even ordinary phones now contain multi-core CPUs, GPU power, artificial intelligence accelerators through neural processing units, and having billions of transistors fabricated on them. Normally, we say that SSD or hard disk are the permanent storage, but they also wear out. Many people think SSDs, static devices, last forever because they have no moving parts. But flash memory cells have limited write cycle. SSD controllers intelligently distributes writes to increase the lifespan, but they also start deteriorating. 13th fact, the operating system is a constantly managing chaos. Operating systems like Windows 11, Ubuntu, or Mac OS continuously manage memory, files, security, multitasking, and hardware communication. Thousands of events happen every second invisibly on these, but they are able to run the show. Friends, computers are mostly computers working are mostly layers built on layers. A modern computer contains many abstraction layers. The first one is electricity. You start the UPS by pressing a switch to start the computer. Then comes transistors, which takes over, which builds logic gates run the processor circuits. You have the machine code that 0101 by any programming language, and they run the operating system, which runs several type of applications through user interface. Most user only see the bottom layer, that means interface. Friends, software is incredibly complex. Modern applications may contain millions of lines of code. For example, operating systems, browsers, and artificial intelligence systems are among the most complex human-made systems ever built. Friends, few more interesting facts about computer. The first computer mouse was made of wood. It was having wheels. About 76% of virus engineers work for organized crime syndicates. The first non-computer programmer was a woman by name Lady Ada Lovelace. Some of the biggest computer brands started in garages. People blink less. People eye blink less when they use computer. Hackers write about 6,000 new viruses each month. The typewriter, reporter, and perpetuity are some of the single row keyboard type words on QWERTY keyboard. You can verify the first line in any keyboard consists of the letters QWERTY, QWERTY, or otherwise you can have the other words written there. Typewriter, reporter, and perpetuity. First desktop had a hard drive below 5 megabyte and used DOS type black and white operating system. Even I had the same as my first computer, desktop computer. 9. The first computer weighted only 27 tons and took about 1800 square feet of space. 10th, bug. The term for computer error comes from an actual moth that caused a malfunction in the Harvard Mark II computer in 1947. So it was a real bug, animal like, and not the computer bug which we find in programming. Uh, Very strange. The three most commonly used passwords in the world are 123456, or the word password itself, and 12345. These three, 12345, password, and 123456. Friends, the password of computer in charge of controlling the nuclear missile of the United States Army for years was 0000. Repeated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 times 0. The word captcha means we are quite often come across captcha. We have to write. The captcha means completely automated public Turing test to sell computers and human apart. So C for completely, A for automated, P for public, T for Turing test, C for computers, and H a human apart. The last fact is the largest number of books written on computer science in the world is from Wikigen, that is me, totaling to more than 130, starting from the very first book of India, Computer for Beginners.